Good morning. It is Saturday, the 24th of March, and it is the start of a new week. So, hello. I'm back from my Weight Watchers meeting. This week we were talking about sort of having different sweet things and, just making sure that you have sort of low pointed sweet things that you can work into the plan, and had sort of shared a few different ideas for things that you can have. One of my favourite things to have is penguin, which is like 5 points, or the little tea cakes. They're really sweet and they're also 5 points, so they're really good for if you do fancy something sweet and you don't want to spend too many points on it. So yeah, that was this week's meeting. I lost I didn't lose. I gained half a pound this week. It felt like a loss though, because I hadn't been tracking, and gaining half isn't too bad. So I'm ready to start this new week, feeling ready to get into it, and just excited for the week ahead. This week is actually my husband's birthday, so we've actually got planned 2 birthday parties because he is greedy. So basically he has too many friends, and we don't have enough room in our little flat. So we're going to have one birthday party on Friday for his work friends, and then we've got another birthday party on Saturday for all of the people we role play with like Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be cooking for 2 parties, which is going to be fun, a little bit challenging, but yeah, it's awesome. So my recipe of the week I am actually going to do on Friday for the first party. So basically we're doing I'm doing Mexican food for both because I love cooking Mexican food. I think it's quite easy to do, and it's easy to do with sort of a lower points without it tasting like it's healthy. So we're going to trick our friends into eating healthy food. On Friday I'm going to do some burritos. They are going to be no count burritos, so I will tell you how many points are in them as well, but if you're on no count they will be free, I believe. So I will do that on Friday, and then on Saturday I will, for next week, do a different recipe that I'm also doing for the party. So that's the plan, and I'll just keep up with you through the week how it's going. So yeah, feeling pumped and ready for a great week. So yeah. Hey. So I know I've mentioned a couple of times the last few weeks that I've been feeling down, and I don't know if I've actually mentioned that I've been feeling really anxious for the last few weeks, and it's just really sort of been getting worse. I've just been feeling really anxious all the time. It's really like affecting my work and just generally my life, and it's just not good. So I actually went to the doctors on Monday about it. I have suffered with depression and anxiety before, and I was on medication for a few years. I don't feel depressed generally. I have had a few sort of down moments, but I don't feel like it's depression. It is just this sort of anxious feeling. I didn't really want to go back to the doctors because, I feel like I just didn't want to go back there. But, it just got to the point where I felt like, I needed to do that. I've mentioned previously that I do suffer with sleep apnea, so normally I sleep, like, I fall asleep really easily, and I've just not been sleeping, where I've just been, having this sort of anxiety and just sort of having thoughts running through my head, and I've got nothing really that I'm worried about. It just seems to be just this general feeling of, worry. So I spoke to the doctor. He has prescribed me some anti-anxiety medication, and he's recommended that I try yoga, which I would actually love to do yoga, but unfortunately at my current size, my flexibility is not up to the challenge. So that is definitely something I would like to try in the future. He also mentioned mindfulness, which is actually something that I have been wanting to look at. I've got a book about mindful meditation, so I'm going to give that a read, and I know that the Adult Education Centre near me does a course on mindful meditation, so I might give that a go, because that could help. It's quite a long waiting list for sort of talking therapy, so that's why we decided to go with medication kind of straight off the bat. I've been signed off work for 2 weeks while the medication kind of kicks in. Hopefully, because generally when you start taking these types of medications, it makes it worse before you start to feel better, so I might feel worse in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, that's what's happening. So I've been comfort eating the last couple of days. Today I've been good. So today I just had my breakfast. I had 2 bagels with egg, the thin bagels. So that was fine. That was like 9 points. And I haven't had anything else today because I got up quite late. And it's Richard's birthday today, so we're having a takeaway for dinner, but I think I'll probably be alright point wise because I've not eaten anything else today. Yeah, so I just want to try and keep an eye on it. Being off work means I can eat whenever I want, so that's could be problematic, but yeah, and obviously comfort eating, so I'm gonna try not to do that while yeah, just try and get better and get back to work. I hate not being at work, and my work didn't seem particularly happy, so that's another thing to worry about. Great. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to getting back to work in a couple of weeks, and yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about that. If you have any questions or anything, then you leave me a comment, because I don't mind talking about mental health. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys later. We've still got people coming Friday for Richard's birthday, so yeah, that should be interesting. But just keep chugging on and hopefully feel better. So yeah. Okay, so it's Good Friday, and I am just about to make some bean burritos ahead of my guests getting here. So this recipe is no count. There will be points in it, obviously, if you're on flex. What I will say before I show you my ingredients is that technically, on no count, the Weight Watchers wraps are free. I don't have Weight Watchers wraps, so technically my food I'm cooking right now isn't free, but if you want to make it and you want to follow the rules really specifically, then you can pay for the Weight Watchers wraps. I haven't. So let's see what ingredients we have. So I've just got normal wraps. I've got my frozen peppers and onions. I've got some tomato puree. I've got refried beans, I've got kidney beans, I've got black beans, I've got some turmeric, I've got some smoked paprika, I've got some coriander, some mild chili powder, and some mixed herbs. And I'm just gonna make that into some nice vegetarian burritos. So to start off, I've got my peppers and onions in my frying pan, nothing in there, just on their own, and I'm just basically defrosting those. So now I'm going to add my black beans, which I have kind of drained off as much as I could, and my kidney beans, which I've also kind of rinsed and drained a bit. I'm just going to stir that through. Now the next thing I'm adding is my refried beans. Now this is obviously like a really thick piece of paste, bean paste even. But as it warms up, it will start to loosen up. You just have to kind of stir it around. But yeah, just basically very slowly try and stir this through. So now that that's all loosened up and sort of combined, I'm going to add in some tomato puree. Probably about 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to stir that through as well. So next I'm adding my spices. So I've got 2 teaspoons of mixed herbs, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, 1 of turmeric, 1 of coriander, 1 of mild chili powder. And I'm just going to put that in and give it a good stir through. So at this stage I've had my master taster come and try it, and he's told me that it needs a bit more spice. So I've added another teaspoon of the chili powder and another of the smoked paprika. I'm just going to stir that through. And then I think we're pretty much done. So now that that's done, it's nice and thick. And I'm going to basically construct my burritos. So what I've done, I've taken this glass dish, I've sprayed it with fry light, and I've just sort of rubbed it through so that it's all around so that it doesn't stick to anything. And I've got my wraps ready, and I'm gonna build a... Okay, so I've got my wrap. I'm gonna add a spoonful of my mixture. Maybe a bit more. There you go. To the middle. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold both sides over. I'm going to tuck them in slightly and fold it like that. Again, I'm going to tuck that in slightly and I'm going to fold it over like that. Now I've got a little parcel there. Should be all completely contained. I'm going to flip it over so it's that way up, and I'm going to pop it in my dish. There we go. I'm just going to repeat that 10 times. Okay, so there are my 10 burritos. This is a great recipe for if you are entertaining, because now that I've done that, I can just pop that in the fridge and it's ready so that when my guests arrive, I can just pop it in the oven. So it's good to go. So I'm also cooking some chicken burritos as well, and those will also be no count. What I'm going to do is I am doing tomorrow, because we're having another party then, chicken enchiladas, and that's basically the same recipe as the chicken burritos, but instead of folding it like that, you're doing something else with it. So I'm going to film the enchiladas tomorrow when I do those, and if you want to make chicken burritos, then you can just follow that recipe, but fold them that way. And I'll show you these once they are cooked. So yeah. So I completely forgot to film my finished results because obviously I had loads of people here. So luckily there are some leftovers. So let me just show you. So these are my burritos after they've been cooked. What I did was I put them in the oven on 180 for about half an hour, and just until they're kind of browned off a bit. What I would say is if you were going to have these and you're doing flex, you would just be counting the points for the wraps, so whatever wraps you're using. Also on flex, the refried beans would have points in them, so I just wouldn't use those. Instead I would get some like haricot beans or some other type of beans, stick them in a blender and make my own kind of bean paste and use that instead, or you can just substitute it for like a tin of tomatoes or something like that. So yeah, those are my burritos. What I would say as well is that I serve them with some rice, and I made my homemade guacamole, but again, you know, depending on what you're doing point wise, you can serve it with whatever you fancy. So tomorrow it's supposed to be my Weight Watchers meeting. My Weight Watchers Nita has let us know that unfortunately she's unwell, so my meeting's not going ahead tomorrow. So I think I'm going to go and weigh myself at Boots again, just because I want to keep on top of it. And so I'll have a chat with you tomorrow when I'm going to do that. So I'll speak to you later. Hey, so I'm just walking to the high street, just to go to Boots to weigh myself. Richard's with me.
Hello.
So yeah, it's not been the best week. I have been comfy eating a bit because obviously I've been feeling a bit down. Well, not down, just anxious. But yeah, I'd rather get weighed so I know what's happening though. So I'm just going to go and do that, and I will let you know what happens when I get home. Hey, so I'm back from the high street. Yeah, so I've put on £3 this week, which I don't think is so bad considering. Obviously this coming week I want to try and turn that around, but just concentrating more on how I'm feeling rather than what I'm eating, which I'm going to try and do both this week. I don't feel much like dancing, so I'm not going to. But hopefully next week I will, have had a better week and do a dance for you. So yeah, that's the end of the week. Sorry to end on a downer. Hopefully next week will be better, and if you have enjoyed this video, like, if you haven't already, subscribe, and I will see you next week and we will continue our journey together. So, bye.